luxury. I ask this because, again, having at the back of our minds that the person earns 3,000 Ghana cedis. Architect Chumesi says don't use more than 30% of your income, which of course will mean that every month you have to put aside 900 Ghana cedis for your building. That is woefully inadequate, isn't it? I mean, I don't know. So in a year, you're going to spend about 10,800 Ghana cedis. In 5 years, it's going to be 54,000 Ghana cedis. In 10 years, it's going to be 108,000 Ghana cedis. And that's in 10 years. Question is, will it be possible for you to even put up that 3-bedroom apartment? Knowing the economic situation we have, where things keep changing, building materials keep changing all the time. Are there other materials, instead of the iron rods? Last year, for example, I learned something that I never knew, that we can even use bamboos in place of iron rods, even to put up high-rise buildings. So for somebody who wants to put up a house, what are some of the, and again, per the plan, the architectural design that you make, what are some of the very affordable materials that are available that people can use to aid them put up a house, live in it comfortably?
Okay, thank you. So let's look at the building in let's say two major entities. The structure itself, core and shell, as it stands there, no finishes, and then with the finishes, right? With the core and shell, David, yes, we talk about sustainable materials and affordability, but a typical case is Agenda 111. We wanted to use earthquake, special molds, and the wahala is too much.
The bricks and all.
Yes, and so now they have to go back to the concrete blocks. You see, technology and materials have a cultural input. What is the mindset of the people here? What are the available technology we have? In South Africa, it's good, but here it's difficult. It could have been perfect for affordable housing, so that plastering and rendering can be reduced. But here you are, you don't have the technology to mold them. You don't have the skilled labor immediately to handle that. Now, when it comes to things like reinforcement and the bamboos, it also has its own challenges, seasoning them, processing them, because you just don't cut it and put it there. It goes through a whole process. So do we have the technology? You end up getting this technology, and it might end up being even higher, right? I'll give you a typical case of technology where, what do you call this one? Trasaco slabs for floors are supposed to be cheaper, but David, the troubles with it to get the human resources is another thing. Now let's move to the finishes, the supra, where you have, that is where the problem is. Most of the time, again, we don't really look at our incomes. The scenario we created, I will even add it to Architect Chumesi, that I'm young and all that. What if I'm young and I'm living in my mom's house, like in his case? He could go and live there. He doesn't own it, but can agree with the siblings and live there, and then take his time.
You're married though.
But nobody is living in the house.
You go on, okay.
Nobody is there, and I want to build mine. So I'll go there, and instead of trying to finish in 2 years, I want a decent home that when I turn 50 or 55, I retire in and feel good. David, the thing is that the psychology is that, and all those social aspects will force him to go and live in that 2-bedroom house uncompleted. There's something wrong with, sorry to say it, but it is what it is. So you have that space. Why don't you take your time and finish it? But here am I have traveled from the north, I've settled a school here, and I found opportunity in Kumasi. I'm working, I have no space, and I'm working with an establishment that cannot give me accommodation. Then your scenario with his proposal is super excellent. But there are several such scenarios that I think that you have to tailor it to your environment. Then when it comes to finishes, I'm living in a bungalow whose floor finished, it's grid floor painted on campus, and I put carpet. I have lived there for about 18 years. Now when I move into my house, I want to put it into that finish and quality I want it. Do you get the point?
Some marble floors.
So the porcelain tiles,
it's finished and they're expensive.
Yes. So if you are a first generation resident in Kumasi and you're building a home and you are self-employed, why do you want to go marble floor? Why do you want to go porcelain tiles when you can get an outhouse screed, put some floor carpet,
Lining,
lining, simple, and live in. Then move on from there. One day you build the main house, and then you can get all the finishes that you want.
So I've heard you guys say that's